25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and it's going to be an Ohio State touchdown.
All right, week 4 college football predictions video. And guys, I feel hungover this morning. I stayed up watching that Kentucky versus Georgia game last night. What an absolutely hideous game that was. 4 field goals for Kentucky. They should have won the game. Pretty much surrendered in the fourth quarter, not going for it on 4th and 7. Punted the ball with 3 minutes to go. And Georgia wins but drops in the poll to number 2. Now Texas is number 1. Arch Manning is leading the number 1 team in the nation. And we're doing picks right here for week 4, starting on Thursday night with Appalachian State versus South Alabama, who scored 87 points this past Thursday against Northwestern State. I'll take App State 42-28. They're in the Sun Belt. Going to Friday night, Illinois versus Nebraska. Now, ignore these rankings. I used usatoday.com, and I think their rankings are from last week, and they're from the coaches' poll. They're totally out of whack, I know. It's just they didn't update today when I'm doing this video. So we'll do Nebraska versus Illinois, 2 3-0 teams in the Big Ten, and we're taking kind of a low-scoring, boring game, 21-16 Nebraska. They win at home. Going to Saturday, big noon kickoff, Ohio State, probably the best team in the country, in my opinion, when they're fully healthy. And they're hosting Marshall, big noon kickoff. It's going to be 45-10. Another bad game on big noon. Fox needs to figure this out right now because it's getting horrible right now. It's like 3 weeks in a row now. We're getting a blowout on big noon kickoff. Oh, even those ABC games, these noon ABC games have been very drowsy this year, and this one's going to be drowsy as well. Clemson versus NC State. Grayson McCall for NC State, so overrated, and they lose kind of a low-scoring game here in Clemson, 20-17. And Clemson gets their, I think, second win of the year right there. Arkansas State at Iowa State, another tough game for Arkansas State this week, and it's going to be 38-3 on ESPN+. USC Michigan, probably the game of the week, at least in the Big Ten, is the game of the week. Miller Moss, my Heisman favorite, going on the road to Michigan in the Big House on CBS. I will take USC to win that game easily, as Michigan is totally out of whack this year without Harbaugh, and USC will be a top 10 team going forward. Here we go, Memphis versus Navy. Now, Memphis is currently my favorite to win the group of 5. I know Northern Illinois is ranked technically, but Memphis right now has the best shot to win the American and go to the playoff. They go on the road at Navy, but they lose, they get upset, so the playoff dreams are over right there. Navy wins 24-20. And Memphis takes their first loss of the season. And here's another group of 5 team we're talking about this year, Northern Illinois. They are ranked, they're in the top 25, hosting Buffalo 31-6 and a snooze fest there. UCLA at LSU. Brian Kelly gets his big win at South Carolina. Can he follow it up this week? Yes, 49-14. UCLA is horrible, getting blown out against IU last night on NBC. What a joke of a game that was. Speaking of a joke of a game, Kent State, the worst team in college football. It was 65-0 at halftime last night. The coach was phoning in saying, can we forfeit the game at halftime? The athletic director said, no, you can't. And they played the second half out. Tennessee just ran the ball in the second half, won 71-0 over Kent State, the worst team in football. It's going to be 56-0 here. They need to stop. They need to shut the program down. They need to end the season. Stop the bleeding right now if you're Kent State. It's over, and they're the worst team statistically in the world. Going to another 3:30 game here. Notre Dame versus Miami, Ohio. Miami's kind of a letdown this year. People were talking about them being the group of 5 team in the playoff. Guys, Notre Dame at home is always a weird wild card team. It's going to be 23-20. I can't trust Notre Dame at home for some reason. It's on the road. They're a good team. But when they get at home in front of that crowd, they get kind of nervous. They get kind of cold feet. It's going to be close. They're going to win in the fourth quarter over Miami. Louisville versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's already 3-1. They've played 4 games already. We need a shootout. We're due for a shootout. It's going to be 45-41. I'm taking Louisville here. Once again, a good offense for Louisville, but the defense will give up some points this game. Haynes King for Georgia Tech is pretty good. It's going to be a fun little game here. Watch this, 45-41, back and forth. Utah at Oklahoma State. Another big game in Oklahoma this week. Aside from Tennessee, Oklahoma, this one's pretty huge. Will Cam Rising be healthy? Undetermined so far. I like Utah this year, trust Kyle Whittingham, and they win this game 21-14. Alan Bowman is in his 8th year of college football for Oklahoma State. He's been pretty good this year, but I like Utah to win the Big 12 this year. It's going to be them or BYU this year, in my opinion. Vanderbilt at Missouri. So Vanderbilt lost to Georgia State last night, hurting their dreams of going to the playoff. Missouri has one of the statistically best defenses in college football right now. It's going to be a blowout, 52-10 Missouri. They're a top 5 team. They're looking good. It's just their schedule's so hard. Like, will they be able to retain, that defense for the rest of the year against teams like Alabama, teams like Texas, Oklahoma? It's going to be tough for Missouri. If they win 10 games, they're in the playoff. But that schedule gets a lot tougher in October, November for them. Miami going there to South Florida. A little interstate rivalry here. South Florida gets another primetime ESPN game. Hosting Miami, the Heisman frontrunner, according to sportsbooks, Cam Ward. And there's just no way he wins the Heisman this year. It's not going to happen. But Miami does win this game. It's going to be close. South Florida's not terrible. 33-25 there in Florida. Watch out for some rain showers during that game. Northwestern at Washington. What a boring game this is on FS1. 2 teams with just no hope of anything this year. And it's going to be kind of a snooze fest. But Washington wins in the 4th quarter with a late touchdown, 24-22. A big win in the Big Ten for Washington. Congratulations to them. They just lost the Apple Cup. Ole Miss versus Georgia Southern. Now, this game's going to be high scoring. Take the over. And Ole Miss wins 69-7. And Jackson Dart, also a Heisman contender this year. I feel like Ole Miss's quarterbacks are always Heisman contenders. It was Matt Corral a few years ago. He got injured and then he didn't win it. But I would not put money on Jackson Dart just because of the schedule. Ole Miss will lose probably 2 or 3 games in the regular season. So I would not expect him to win the Heisman. But the stats are crazy this year. Lane Kiffin always loves running the score up in these games. 69 burger for Ole Miss. And here it is, the game of the week. Tennessee at Oklahoma. The SEC matchup on ABC, primetime, Saturday Night Football. College Game Day is going there. I'm going to the game, actually. I'll be there at game day in the morning, then at the game at night. So watch out for me on TV. Guys, Nico Lamanaliva going on the road. I like Oklahoma to win this game, 37-27. That home crowd's going to be nuts on Saturday night. They're going to win their first SEC game ever. Congratulations are in order to Oklahoma University for the big win. They'll be a top 5 team playing against Texas in October. It's going to be a huge Red River game this year. That's going to be so exciting in about 3 weeks. And here we go. Speaking of Texas versus Monroe. Now, Texas is the number 1 team in the AP poll, led by Arch Manning himself, and they're playing the undefeated Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe, coming in looking for a monumental upset to change the course of their program. It's not going to happen. Texas easily wins this game on Saturday night, and they retain that number 1 spot. And then the final game of the night, Kansas State at BYU. BYU is my dark horse pick to win the Big 12 this year. A late night game on ESPN here at home. It's going to be a raucous crowd in Brigham Young University, and they win this game, and they flood the field against K-State and get a big win in the Big 12. They'll be ranked next week. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video on my predictions video for week 4. If you disagree with any, put it in the comments below. It's not the best week ever, but next week is Alabama versus Georgia in the primetime game. That's going to be huge. And then I would watch out this week, especially for that Michigan-USC game. That's going to be interesting to see Miller Moss in his first really big primetime game there. Well, I guess they played earlier this year against like LSU or whatever, but... And then Ohio State back in action this week against Marshall. Ohio State's non-conference this year is so weak. But I want to watch out for Will Howard to be a Heisman favorite as well. Once the schedule kind of ramps up for Ohio State, he'll put up big numbers, and he'll be up there for the Heisman race. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video, week 4. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your week. Thank you. Bye.